All right. It is I. It is I. It is him. The Warrior Junior is still here, contrary to what some people might think that I have um, left the gone beyond the galactic rim. No, no, not yet, not yet. I'm still here. Um, yeah, I haven't done any live broadcasts for a while. You know, I think it's good sometimes, like, well, you should speak your mind, like when you feel like you should. And then there's times when it's like, hey, man, give it a break for a while. Look, you can go on rants and stuff. I don't like venting because that's nonsense. So, oh, venting, he's mad, so he's trying to. Everything should be educational and informative. Like, not, take it entertaining. You can call it that, but I don't. Like, I think entertainment is like brain dead. Basically what you're trying to do is turn off your brain. And like, I mean, I guess when I saw Star Wars, I have a friend. He's a good guy, but he's like a sci-fi psycho. Like he texts me, goes, Warrior, you see this Star Wars thing? You see this? And I said, no, look, man, there's just it never ends. I mean, it's like, I get it, but you gotta, like, focus on yourself sometimes. I mean, I guess, I'm not gonna put anything on him, but it's like you can't keep up with it. Star Wars, it's like, it's Boba Fett, it's a new Obi-Wan movie. It's, oh, did you see Luke was in this and the Mandalorian? You see, the thing is, there's so much, and the only people, like, I'm sorry, but like, I look at it. Look, when I was a kid, it's a different story. But when you're an adult, you got to make money, man. You got to, like, work on your life, and you're not doing that. You can't do that when you're watching all this stuff. You're just wasting time. And when you get older, you just, you don't have that much time left. So it's like, no offense to him, but it's just like, all right, man. It's enough. I look. I saw episode 7, 8, 9 opening night in the theater. It was exciting. I thought it was going to be exciting, but the crowd was like dead. Chinese theater for like the second show. And this just leads me to, like, my topic for tonight. Talking about, um, well, there's two things I want to talk about. I mean, the Star Wars, the opening night thing. I mean, when episode one came out in '99, the crowd was like, the first couple of shows. I remember I was like saw the second or third show. It was like, I mean, the anticipation was unfucking believable. And then for like episode 9, I mean, even for episode 7, The Force Awakens, the anticipation was unbelievable. And then, like, when the second one, The Last Jedi, came out, I mean, it was like, I mean, you could almost hear crickets. I mean, the opening night, and then same thing with the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, it was like, I remember I during the previews I went boo, like at that, and then some guys like, you couldn't hear. I mean, it's just, I mean, you're just looking at a changing of the guard, a change of times, man. Like, it's just, this is all before COVID too. Just different. So this leads into, I want to talk about I want to talk about warrior mentality for a little bit, as far as things I've been seeing in the gyms, and then the importance of the fragile ego, or the non, just, well, I'm gonna say importance, but it's just, maybe should I cover the fragile ego first? I mean, it's kind of simple. What do I mean by that? Well, look, I talked about this before. It's so easy for you to get upset when someone you don't know says something, about you. And I've been, like, having a real good attitude lately. Um, Thanks to a lot of education, reading, learning, and just trying to understand that you can't change society. Like, where you are, you can go somewhere else, you can do other things, you can try to. But, I used to be a very bitter person. And it's not important really why. What's important is now. I think there's some crazy homeless woman. I was carrying my groceries, and there's like this alleyway that I'll take, leads into residential thing, and it's not like these dark alleys. It's just it cuts the distance between these corners, and it's like a. It's funny because it's behind like one of these women's grooming places where they have these Lamborghini SUVs in the alley, right? And like there's this like homeless black woman. She's like, I don't know. She's looking in the window. That she's, I don't know. I think she was just trying to straighten her hair, but she's her bag there and everything. But I could tell, like now I had my groceries with me, and I had like a fanny pack because my jeans, some of my jeans, my bodybuilding, the jeans are too tight. You can't like get your just a wallet, like not even that thick. And it's like ridiculous, when you form not really super tight, but it's tight enough to where it's kind of uncomfortable. So I put like throwing my shit into this little fanny pack, putting up all the water, to carry all this shit when you're walking around. And I looked for a second because the sun was shining, and it's like I'm a very defensive person. I don't care. I didn't care about this person, but I turned to look for a second just to make sure this person wasn't. You have to be able to look. If somebody's going to try to run up and do something to you, you always want to you want to one up that. You want to be able to notice them before they notice you. So I turned to look for a second and kept going, and then she opened up her mouth. She goes, "I saw you looking at me, you motherfucker," and then she just started like um, calling me every name under the book. And it's just I didn't want to engage, but it was just never ending. So without 40 years old, she goes, and I said, well, why don't you act like it? I said that, and she just kept on and on, like just wow, just like fucking bald, making fun of me, like that I'm white, that I'm bald or whatever, and this like this is like elementary school, but childish, and so. When I got home, I said, I'm going to call this business. I know the business. I said, I'm going to tell them. I said, look, there's this person out there that's like looking around. Got no, and they said, yeah, we know who that is. I call security, get them out. And I got no issue really with homeless people. It's just but when they become, hostile, and that's when this one is one of those. I am going to, and I said, she goes, what are you looking at? Like real, I said, look at whatever I want. And I can look at whatever I want because I have to defend myself. I don't have to explain myself, but as a defensive person, you have to. If anybody ever says, what are you looking at? I said, whatever the fuck I want. And you can say it that way, like I don't have to validate myself to you or anybody. I have to defend myself at all costs. You don't have to, this social conditioning tells you, oh, yeah, I understand, mind your own business, but my business is my own self-preservation, and I don't have to explain that to anybody. So you got to watch your back. And if watching your back means making sure that nobody tries to come up on you by noticing their presence, then, you take care of yourself, man. Don't try to go along with this social conditioning that, oh, no, I can't look because what are they going to think of me kind of thing. Fuck what anybody thinks of you. That's what that, and this all leads into this fragile ego kind of, mentality of somebody saying something about you. Somebody you don't even know. They don't even know you. Like you think you're somebody. You're nobody. Everybody thinks they're somebody. Like that. They get so offended so easily, and nobody teaches you this. The parents do not teach their kids how to be able to not pay attention to this. Now we all have ears, unless we can't hear. Like anybody that says something, you're going to hear it. But it's important to understand. See, that's the thing. When someone says something really, it's like Wayne Dyer said this. He said if somebody says something nice, he wasn't affected by any of the shit, good or bad. Most people, they're not. They don't think this way. They're compliments. They love it. Oh, thank you, thank you. But then when someone throws them a curveball that they don't know or whatever, they're so offended. They, and then they have to get real defensive about it. I don't take the compliment. You know how many times people telling me, "Oh, wow, you look big. You're looking big," and I just say, I've been doing this for a long time. I don't say thank you. I don't say thank you because I don't want it. Like if you're taking these compliments, oh, thank you. Then when someone throws you a curveball, you're gonna get all irate and frustrated and stuff like that. Let me tell you, that guy don't look like nothing. It's so. I'm telling you, it's just. And nobody teaches this. No, I've never seen anybody that teaches adults or kids. They say, sticks and stones made big man. They teach you dumb analogies, but they don't teach you how to handle situations which involve your ego and having a fragile one, which most people have. I could piss off anybody. Anybody. Why? Because most people have a fragile ego. Not Wayne Dyer when he was alive. Because he said, when someone said a compliment or somebody threw him a curveball, he was like, that's an interesting point of view. How can you piss off somebody no matter what you say? He's like, that's an interesting point of view. Like, you didn't care, positive or negative. That's like, think about the power somebody like that has. It's very, very rare. But, he studied the Tao. He knew he passed away. So we use the past tense in respect. But do you see my point that I'm trying to make? I mean, man, I could, it doesn't do anything for me. Like to go, belittle, like to test to crack people's egos. It doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything for me. It's, are you gonna get beat up? Yeah, you get beat up. You know what? If there was any way to monetize it, then I would to write a book on it. You need to have a doctorate, PhD in psychology. I'm just a guy with an idea, and you know what? Ideas. I got news for you. Everybody thinks they've got some great ideas. They don't mean nothing. I talked about this months ago. My movie scripts and shit that I've written. It doesn't matter. It all doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It matters that I wrote it down because just an idea means nothing. It really doesn't. It's glorified daydreaming. That's what it is. That's what it is. Everybody's got a fucking idea. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I live like in Entertainment Central. There's very, very few, but they're very, very powerful people here. And there's all the other underlings that cater to them. A lot of people fool themselves. They all think they're bigger than they are. And what I mean by that, not physically, but they all think, oh, I know so and so. You don't know anybody, okay? There's like a handful of people that really, really have the power, and they might have met you for a second as an acquaintance or something, but for the most part, most people they're not, they're struggling to get by. That's what it is. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about fragile ego. I kind of already branched away from that, but I want to talk about my recent experiences going to these gyms. I noticed in my area popping up pop-up gyms, these relatively small, what used to be personal training type gyms. Now they're letting like regular people go and work out there. So this new one opened up in West Hollywood, and I know like pretty much without even going in, but I said let me go in and get a tour from this guy. So this guy shows me around this relatively. I mean, the back was a little the outdoor workout area was a little bigger than I thought. And so I asked him. I said, okay, what's the deal here? What's the It was, well, it's $150 a month. We're open. They open early my place open early in the morning. They close around 9. Then limited hours on Saturday. And it's kind of the frills thing with the towel service nonsense. And I told them, not in a mean way, but I said I'm a no frills guy living in the frills area. What does that mean? That mean if you know me by now, I would have loved to have been my age now. I've been able to work out at the old Gold's Gym, with just it's all there is kind of like a one fan and like a water fountain. That's it. There's no TVs, no radio going. There's nothing, no music in the background, and all the old school equipment. That's good enough, and people that are very, very serious that are there. They're not there to, there might be a little bit of talking going on, but they're there to work. And you talk about like at Gold's Gym, they had all the guys that were there. And in my mind, that's the mentality. Like even Vince Gironda had a place. I was a kid. I walked by. I was on Ventura near Studio City. I remember where it was. Vince's gym. I was just too young, but I walked by it all the time. and he had a zero tolerance for bullshit. I mean, that guy, really surprised he didn't have a squat rack in there. I mean, you would think that his mentality was, squats build butts, not thighs. It's a good point, but the argument can be countered because squat rack, you could do front squats on it, and maybe you say, well, it's the same mentality, still build butts. But you know what? Big butt is big legs. That's just that's a fact. Um, but then look at pictures of Fincher Ronda, when he's standing there and stuff like that. Yeah, you look like that. So it's like, I guess when it's your gym, you say how it goes. But it would, I'd really like to. I would love to talk to him about that because I would make the counter argument that, the squat rack is imperative. Because you build big, build a big butt. It's still big legs. I mean, look at Tom Platz talked about that. He said, the squat is the most natural movement. He credits that to his leg development. But I guarantee he's taken a lot of stuff too. Nevertheless, so back to today. So I go to that place. There was nobody actually in there when I went in that one. And then there's another place that I noticed. This other place that I noticed not too far from me. And what attracted me to it, I was I go to I go to this park, and I'll work out. They have like some decent stuff, for pull-ups and different types of movements. And I was walking home and I noticed this gym open 24/7. So I said, fuck, let me go check this thing out during the day. So I went in there today. This young guy, he showed me around. It was fairly small, but yeah, it was small. It's one area. And he's like, you have a 24/7, you can get in here. And I remember online I read it was $150 a month. And after I saw how small it was, he goes, I can grandfather you in at $100 a month. And I was like, whoa. Now, this is kind of important because if you are really, really serious, about, it's not bodybuilding, but building a body. You got, a lot of people got to get off this mentality of seeing these guys all oiled up, giant fucking dudes, and posing and stuff like that. That's bodybuilding, and that's that. You got to get that out of your fucking head because. And Bill Phillips with EAS, he was the one really that educated me through his documentary movie. That's one thing, but that's really not what bodybuilding is. That anybody that wants to change their body, build muscle, lose body fat, I've seen just like these kind of housewife women that just want to get toned. That's what bodybuilding is. It's you're changing your body into something. I mean, and someone say, "Well, I don't want to get too big." You're not going to get you're not going to get too. It's fucking hard as fucking hell. You'd have to be on taking all this. It's ridiculous. I mean, anybody just by doing weight bearing exercises, they're not going to get big. You're going to get fit first. You know how much I got to eat. Now I'm about 185 right now. I mean, it's like insane. Every second I'm thinking, okay, well, what am I going to have the next couple hours? I got to have something to eat. What am I drinking? Water and my supplements. I mean, it's it's not just like trying to get fit here. That's what I do is like way beyond that. And the only reason that I'm not like a professional bodybuilder on stage is because I don't take anabolics. That's it. That's the only thing. Or else I would be on stage with those guys for sure. There's no fucking question. That's the only thing that separates me is the PEDs, and I won't do it. I won't do it because I just, I'm too scared at this point in my life. I'm too paranoid about, like really fucking myself up inside. My internal organs is, I'm lucky to be in one piece. So, naturally or whatever. I take like Tribulus, I take some stuff, that's like you can get over the counter, but nothing like what those guys are doing, like to get on a stage, So anyway, let me talk about that. So, and I said to myself, I have a friend, and he's got like some mental issues. He's a good guy, but he lives literally like 2, 3 blocks from this place, and he instead like he'll take a bus all the way to Hollywood. It's like LA Fitness, like $25 a month, and then all the way back. And it's like I told him, I said, dude, for $100, it doesn't matter. You think, oh, it's $100 a month. You don't understand the value of the access. It's like irrelevant. Now, the issue that I had with the place was, I use a lot of different stuff, and this guy doesn't have it. There's just not enough stuff in there. And like, say, well, there's, and then what if there's more people? So what's the difference if there's one, squat rack, but then there's like 5 people waiting to use it because like it's a small place instead of my gym where there's a lot more people, but it's not as long of a wait to use something. So, it's a difficult thing. I went into my gym today during what I call high noon, which is not 12 o'clock afternoon. It's around, after 4, 5, 6 is when the gay Hadoo starts. Like, so I try to get to 4. Hopefully I can just be finished and get the hell out before the gay party starts there. Where what I mean by that is it's like a gay Hadoo where these people they're just there to like intermingle. They're not there to really work out. They're there just to occupy space and waste time and all text each other, I guess. They're all right there, all texting each other. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I don't care what they're doing. I just want to be able to do my workout and get the fuck out of there. And when I think about a gym like, which is maybe a half mile from my place, that I can go in 24/7. I mean, it reminds me of the old Beverly Hills Health and Fitness. That basically, that's where I cut my teeth there. I started. The morning of 9/11, I was doing lying V's, leg curls. When I saw the second plane going, they had little TVs. I remember I was in the gym that morning. That's how much time I have. Okay. All right. So on and off without bragging, because I stopped. I stopped bodybuilding for a long time, on and off, due to like kidney stone surgery. Then I just didn't want to do it anymore. So okay. And even when I stop, I go down to about 100 and maybe about 155 pounds, maybe even a little bit lighter. Not really under 150. I don't look sickly. Like when I don't. But I'm not like I look very average, at 5'9", about surprisingly, even under like a little under 150. Yeah, I don't look too bad. It's kind of like just an average kind of thing. I remember in August I was doing like martial arts type stuff in the gym, and then boxing, like kind of my own variation of like a martial arts, kicking, boxing, um, with like CrossFit type of kettlebells and stuff. And it was really cut. And I said, what am I, 175? So I got on the scale, and I was 159.6, a touch under 160. And it was like the first time I got on the scale in a long time, back last August. And I was shocked and go, under 160 pounds. I was like, what the fuck? I thought I was 175. I was like solid though, and pretty solid now. But I was like, wow. And I said, I want to, I was, always been kind of fit. I was cut, I was fit, at 160. I looked pretty good. I said, I want to get some density back. So then I started lifting heavy and started coming back. I got to 170 fairly quickly, and a couple months later, 175. Shortly thereafter, because I started, I said, okay, it was the eating that kind of slowed me down. I wasn't eating enough, so I started, watching now instead of, going to the gym. Yeah, I know what to do, but the eating is very paramount. Um, the frequency and the supplementation, how when I take stuff before I go to bed, exactly. I kind of like I look at, and then I notice, once my hours started changing, when I'm up during the day and I'm sleeping at night, then the gains just took off. I went, I cracked 180. Um, a couple days ago, I weighed myself. I was over 183. I was almost 184 pounds. Pretty good. But I'm thinking in my mind 200. That's what I want to get to. And at this point, it's not. It's very, very practical, realistic. But little by little, you just do the work, and you remain consistent. And something, you see something slowing down, you figure out, okay, well, what's the problem here? What's the problem? I do a shitload of leg work, and I do it a lot. Um, so that's enough about that. Oh, so here's what I want to talk about. So I went into yesterday. I checked out this Easton gym. I've been in there, checked it out. A couple of years ago, or whatever. And I was contemplating going there instead of where I'm going now because of, just how do I say this? It's a combination of factors. It's a combination of factors. It's not just the overwhelming gay thing. That's not the main reason. It's a part of the reason, but it's a hardcore mentality, and this bothers me. I don't like walking into this place thinking like that I'm Mr. Olympia or something like that. And in a nice way, I'm trying to. I feel like I'm going into these places, and what you're seeing, any of these places I go into, it's like these people with this kind of like going through the motions mentality in these places. Like they're just there to be there. Like they're really not there to work. Like I told you, like this Easton place I went into, that's like one of the oldest gyms in Hollywood, still there. It's not technically in Hollywood anyway, as this woman half my age tried to school me on. And I made sure to tell her a nice way. I said, no offense, but I've been doing this longer than your trainer's been alive, and probably you. I told you the morning 9/11 I was doing leg curls, and I go back way, way, way before that. You want to talk about 1991 when I was in there, or you want to talk about the late 80s? Now, if you go back further than me, then you got more time than me, but most people don't. Because I see people half my age. Anyway, so I go in this place, and it's like a library. What I mean by that is like I don't hear a sound. Like nobody's like, oh, you know what? And I'm looking around. I mean, I could just imagine myself like, if I made a peep, the whole place would hear me, the whole entire place. And it's like I told you what happened at Fitness Factory, where I felt like I could just get one more rep in 225, which for me on my back, 225 squat it's a lot. I just said one more, like be my own personal trainer. I go one more. Like why do I need to have a trainer there? I could be my own trainer. And this little fucking guy, it was the owner. He goes, no noise, no noise, no noise. And that place, the building, that whole place is gone. And I'm not surprised. Um, you know, I'm like old school mentality. Now, in my gym that I go, I don't, I wish, like, I really wish I could. Like, sometimes I will say it, depending on the exercise and how much. Definitely, if I'm lifting something, if I'm going for a PR, I don't give a fuck if the whole city hears me, um, because I have to. I feel like that would prevent injury. By you, like saying, like one more, just mentally preparing yourself, and I'll sometimes yelling up, like just psych myself up, literally, so that I can get through the set, especially for the beginning thing is the most important. The motions, some like but sometimes those reps are so damn heavy. I have to. I gotta keep myself. It takes everything I've got. I have very, I'm not built for power, so I'm fighting genetics, but I'm not fighting my will to push because that I've got. Like I've got incredible drive, to bring out the best in me. But here's the problem, as I just mentioned, my gym included. It's kind of like a library. And I notice I go to all these places. It's like these people. I call them this kind of people. They're lifting like baby weights. Or they're just not pushing themselves to any extreme. Like I don't. It's funny in my gym. I don't see like one person breaking a sweat. So I said to myself, you know what? Like when I'm doing a hard exercise, my face grimaces. It looks kind of silly, stupid. But I guarantee all these other people in the gym, like they're so self-conscious, they're just so scared to push themselves because they're afraid how they're gonna look to somebody else. Um, this is the mentality of like a lot of 21st century pansies. I hate to say it, but that's what they are. Um, you're kind of like categorized. Now, if you're a real noob, you don't have the advanced ability to have intensity because it takes advanced, like to be able to push yourself that hard. If you don't know what you're doing and you push yourself super hard, you could really hurt yourself. um, Now again, I've got decades of experience on and off. There's times when I really will fucking drive myself, and then there's times where it's time to take the foot off the gas a little bit because it's not worth it. Like some exercises you don't need. Lee Haney said stimulate, don't annihilate. Sometimes though, if you can, I mean that's what it takes. The stubborn hard areas they need to be grinded in. If you can, like if it can be done. Um, Look, man, I show you my training logs. It's like I have not missed I could go in the gym every day during the day for the past month and a half, and mid afternoons or at nights I go to the park. So I mean, you're talking about like a shitload of fucking work that I put in, and we didn't even get into like we already talked about food and supplementation. It's like a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle plus to like force your body to change at the maximal rate. I mean, I don't think like most of these people, that I see in these gyms, and that's what bothers me. So it's like I'm not an exceptional like built person, but I have an exceptional mentality. Like of not wasting time, like going these places and being dead serious, um, and not allowing any of these fools to bother me, to either be in the park or in the gym. And it's like most people are just wasting their time. Really, they're wasting their time. If you're on this, if you're texting somebody between sets, you're wasting your time. How can you be? You need that rest time, that minute or two, to catch your breath and to keep your mind focused on the next set. It has to be. It has to be. Like if you're watching television or watching other people and other thing, your mind or talking to somebody else, how are you there? You're not. You're not. It requires like a very strong-willed, committed person from the second you show up there to the second you leave. Most people don't have that. It's too much. But then look at the results. Most people don't look like nothing. They don't. They don't. They don't look like nothing. And the people, these guys, these big, I've seen these big gays. They're all taking steroids. They have a balloon look. It's not. It's a balloon look. Like the muscle is inflated, but it's like I can see right through it because it's now if you combine the anabolics with an incredible work ethic like Ronnie Coleman or something like that, then you get like a marble. Okay, that's the combination. Like Franco Colombo, it's marble. Like the anabolics plus the work. One without the other, the anabolics without the work, you get a balloon look. It's not marble because they're not doing the work going in there. Now, if you're doing the work and you're not on the anabolics, you know what you get? You get me. Okay, you get like a marble, but not blown up. It's like, and it's kind of sucks because like it's an incredible amount of work, but it's real. That's what it is. So you're solid, but you're not like big. Now I got people telling me compliments. Oh, getting big kind of thing. Look, man, I've seen people that are fucking big. And one friend told me, "Oh, 200 pounds is huge." He goes, "It's not huge." Like, see, in their minds, they think very, very little. They very little. They don't get it. Okay. I think big, and it's not just the physical thing that I think big. I think big as far as like other things too. I have a friend, I can't talk to him too long because his mind, he doesn't know how to think. He's hoping that he could like, you know, find somebody to work off of, like, somebody to give him a chance. Like, he can't sit there and try to figure out, like what he could do with his life. That's all he can think about is, well, I'm old and I don't know who's gonna hire me, kind of thing. That's his mentality. Who's gonna hire me? Instead of really sitting down thinking, what can I do on my own? Why do I got to depend on all these people? Like, and that's what he is. He's just, I try to, like, and this is the problem, the fragile egos thing. Like, if you tell somebody directly this, they go, hey man, you can try to say it nicely, but a lot of people, they just can't handle it. Like, they get defensive, they get mad. You mean well. It's like a tough love kind of thing, like, but that's the problem. Like, people get, somebody tells you the way it is, like, and they're really mean well for you. They go, oh, fuck you, man. Yeah, it's like the lies have to be, when you're a kid, they tell you to be whatever you want, and it's not true. So somewhere along the lines, it's like it would have been nice if, you're raised with like a real world mentality. And they don't. They let, I understand that it's good to, let a kid be a kid, but it's good to kind of like educate them, not just in the ways that, people are dangerous kind of thing, stranger danger. Like, I understand, yeah, that's good too, but also in really finding out like who you are and getting one step ahead of everybody else. Oprah Winfrey talked about this. She was homeschooled like early, real early. And so, like, when she went to, like, I forget, second grade or something, the teacher was like, what? How does she know all this already? It's like she was one step ahead, a couple steps ahead of all these other kids. That's what made her. It started when she was a little kid. She was getting on, and she had trouble. I know, down. But do you see that, like, one step ahead of everybody? That in life, how huge is that? To be more knowledgeable, but not just knowledgeable, but like, being able to apply that action, to anything. Complex talked about this. Being able to take that work ethic in the gym and putting it into the corporate. Like, it's just like, boy, I mean, what a great mentality to have. Look, my whole life was the gym. It's not that anymore. It's a very, very important component. But like, I have a friend, he's a good guy, but he's got his mental problems, and his whole life is the gym. It kind of reminded like me about me maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago. That's all I did, like, but I didn't know what else to do. And the problem is that you want to be, like I talked about, 3 pillars: physical, education, which is mental, and then the financial. You want to have all fucking 3. Because if you don't have all three and you just go to the gym and you build a good body, then your education, like your knowledge, what kind of woman's going to want a guy with no money, no education, but like he works out all the time? Now, I know there's more to life than just getting laid, but you understand that just doing one thing. I know this other guy, he's in terrible shape. He's got plenty of money. The education thing is not really, his knowledge thing is good. Like he doesn't need a degree or anything because he got plenty of money. But his physicals is zero, And this guy, he won't, like I told him, he says, you want to work with, a trainer, somebody like me, it's going to cost you like $200 an hour. Period. It's it. That's like what I need for my time. Because of what I know, and he just won't, $50 an hour. He gets like these women. They women are not men. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. She looks like a She-Hulk though. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She knows how to take. I've seen this woman. Okay, that's it. You're fooling. It's fooling people, but it's not fooling me. You can't fool somebody that's got 30 years of experience. Plus, I got a master's degree in phys ed. She doesn't. They got certificates. They study for, they know the body composition. They got a CPR certification. And the thing, it's nothing. It's a fuck you. Anyway, it's nothing. It's nothing. A personal training certificate. I got into it one time with one of these clowns when I was stressed. And I said, dude, you got a certificate? I got a fucking Master of Science degree, okay? Don't get into this with me. I got 30 years of experience. You're trying to one-up me. It's not going to happen. And this is the problem. Like, there's no, like there should be a hierarchy, but there isn't. In my mind, like I'm a general, like when it comes to this shit. And one of these guys, they're just like a enlisted sergeant or something. You're trying to talk to a fucking general, and you're just like a sergeant or something, or a low officer. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. That's how much time I got. 30 years on and off. Okay, maybe more. Anyway. So you get those three pillars, man. So for me, it's like finishing my doctorate, which I'll have by next year. The pace that I'm going, the best pace that I can figure out finally how to do it. The physical things, always getting better. So like, I'm making. I want to be. Thing is, I want to be the best version of myself possible. Just like you should be. You should want to strive to be the best version of yourself possible. There's plenty of people, they got plenty of money, but they don't care about the physical. They don't care what they look, and that's sad because like, you don't got to be extreme, like bodybuilder thing, but like they don't want to give up any of that cash like this miser that I know to learn a little bit from somebody that has decades of experience. So, it's just a lot that creating that balance. I mean, I'll tell you, there's not many people that I would consider like the epitome of the three pillars. But they're out there. I mean, like that I would look up to, like, I don't know, John Cena, for example, Rich Gaspari, Stallone, Batista, some of these guys are just, they're not just incredibly physical, but, but they've got all the other ones. I mean, it's just like, and that's like just my own personal thing. That's like what I look at these guys and I'm like, fuck, man, can you just imagine walking around and fuck, like you're not just incredible shape, but you got incredible money to go with it, or incredible status or educate, whatever. I mean, that's like, just to me, that's like, better than having a Lamborghini out there, or convertible Rolls. I know it's I see them every day. I see these guys. I look at the cars. When I see these convertible Rolls Royce, I saw this guy driving by, and he looked like, nothing. He just looked like an older guy, probably with money. He didn't look like nothing. To me, you got to be the physical version of that too. Like you got to be, everything. And they don't. I guarantee some of these dudes own buildings, man. They own freaking buildings. I mean, they got millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they look like shit. I mean, it's really amazing to me. Like they could throw like $200 an hour to me till the end of time. I mean, till the end of time to learn. Like what I know, and they wouldn't pay it. They wouldn't pay it. And that's why I just stopped trying so hard. I stopped trying so hard because I realized like people they're either what they want is like the most of one. Either like the fitness thing, they want to be just that's all they want in their life. The people that are in education, whatever, it could be bookworms or something. They don't care about they're like nerds, like bookworm, library kind of. I got a friend that's like that. And then there's people that are the worst of all are the money hungry misers that got so much money that they never be able to spend it in their lifetime, and it's never enough. My ex-girlfriend, she's the epitome of it. She was a miser. That's why I had to get rid of her. I tried to show her the broader, spectrum of things, the three pillars, like, but in a little different way, like, but about the same. I mean, she just wouldn't share any. She like, that miser mentality, and she would sympathize it. That's the only reason I have anything is because I'm a miser. I go, no, sweetheart. The only reason you made smart business decisions. You bought a house for your condo for 110,000. You sold it for 350. You bought a house for 650. Took a loan and sold it for 1.2. Then you bought another. She snowballed. That's not from being a miser. And I asked her to give me something to help me get started, to help me with this, like, and not like it wasn't like a handout. It was just, I found a great opportunity at the time with platinum. Platinum was like $600 an ounce. I showed her the charts at the time. I swear, it was like $600 an ounce. And I go, sweetheart, if we buy platinum here, futures, it's not going any lower. It's going up, and it goes to like $1,000 an ounce. It will. It has to, based on the stat. It will. It will eventually. At the time, a couple of years ago, we'll make like a couple 100,000 each. And then I'll have my own like money to work with. Like, but you're helping me get started. And she was like, okay, all right, all right. And she just never did. And I just, I can't believe she just lied. She lied to my face about, she said no, and then she said she would. And sure enough, look at the price of platinum right now. Over 1,000. It's been over $1,000 an ounce for months and months and months already. But when I presented this idea to her, it was at 600. I knew it was going to go up. She wouldn't help me get started. You don't want to be around people like that. If she just would have said no, okay, then I just know it's not the type of person like going to help me. It's like, see, like what I know about fitness, it would be like me, like her giving me, like with my knowledge, like helping her. But you see, people don't help each other. They really don't. They say they do. They don't, okay? They don't. And you know what? You can't change people. You can't change society. All you can do is change yourself. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever come up to me. And they give you compliments. Nobody has ever come up to me and said, hey, you know what? I will pay you to teach me what you know. Why? I mean, if you saw a multi-millionaire, like if you knew somebody was rich and you could say, hey, can I just get like 15 minutes of your time to like pick your brain? I'll give you a couple $100. I really need to figure out how to become like you. And I guarantee you they would. But people don't. It just doesn't work like that. Society, like it's not. They want huge money, like or it's just the people that are so grand. You can't. I mean, it's like was it Bill Gates talked about this? Like he managed to get a Hewlett Packard. I think got his phone number out of a phone book one time to try to. And when he was a kid, when he was literally a kid, trying to pitch him an idea for like a motherboard or something like that. I heard about this. It's tiny. He was one step ahead. My problem was I was one step ahead, but I kind of went the wrong way. And unfortunately, I chased every dream that didn't lead anywhere. Now, I'm not saying I'm done, I'm finished, I can't be. That's all I can do at this point in my life. You know, I'm not next year, by the end of next year, I'll be 50. God willing, I'm still here. That's all I can do. Instead of looking back at the wake, if you're on the boat, to go forward, is continue. Try to build yourself up educationally, financially, and physically. There was this guy in the gym. I saw him. This guy must have been 6'4", 6'5". I want to swear, he looked like he was pretty well built, but it was all hidden. Now, and I was doing light flies with dumbbells. And this guy, he came up to put these light weights back. He like I stood up after my set. I was pretty pumped. And this guy, like he could have been damn near close to 250 pounds. He might have been probably. He was close if he was that. He was a big fucking sized dude at 6'4", probably 250. For my gym. And when he walked away, I kind of said this. I didn't want him to hear it. He didn't hear it, but I go, that's the reason that I'm lifting. Because there's fucking plenty of fucking big dudes out there. And it's not just, it's the women thing is extremely important. Well, I'm a normal guy. I'd like to get laid by by exceptional woman. If you want an exceptional woman, you got to be an exceptional guy. Now you don't have to be Mr. Olympia. But like my uncle, for example, like, you know, it wasn't until he became financially successful that he got kind of what he wanted. That's the way it is. You got to have something. You got to be exceptional at something, or at least have all the three bases covered above average. Above average. Above average money. Above average education. And an above average build. You know, like all three. You don't have to be a billionaire. You don't have to have a doctorate degree. And you don't have to be Mr. Olympia. All those three things help. But you see, like, you know, like, you got to be up there. If you're just an average youth, you're going to get an average, you know, you're going to live an average youth life and get an average youth woman and have average youth money that's not exceptional. You know, I probably have an average youth car. Youth very much. It's just common knowledge, you know? Now, I know what I'm saying sounds, you know, I know it's preaching to the choir, but you got to understand where I come from. I come from below sea level is where I come from. I come from below average is where I come from. And it doesn't matter why I was there or how I got there. What matters is that what I'm doing to get above that. Even at my age, I made catastrophic errors financially. I wasted too much time where I didn't, you know, educate myself with knowledge. I'm making up for all of it at this point. Everything. And it's like you can expedite the process, kind of like if you've got enough age under your belt, you know, like you've been through, like, you know, paid your dues. It's like, you know, you take somebody that's, let's say, I don't know how old they are, 30s or 40s, and they've had them, let's say they were rich before and they've lost it all. You'd be surprised if they can get it back. If they can get it back, they got the knowledge. They're not finished. You'd be surprised how many people got like a finished mentality. Like they just never were. They never stuck their necks out there. They never took any real risks, or the risks they took were they thought they were taking risks, but it's not. They're not. No, it wasn't built on education. You know, like saying this piece of property here, I have this vision, you know, like that's a fucking business risk, you know. I'm not talking about going to a casino and taking $10,000, you know, like and trying to win. I'm talking about like smart risk. You know, like people say, well, you know, this stock thing, okay, so this is based on the price per, you know, earnings ratio. You see this, that this company has made this much money over this. I mean, that's see the intelligence and the knowledge that goes in. Or the property saying, you know, this property right here, now what they're looking to develop this and they're going to build this within 6 months from now, then this land appreciation is going to, I mean, that's like, we're talking research. We're talking knowledge. We're not talking gambling here. Those are the people that have fucking money in life here, not the people that are the turn of a card or you know the gambling. That's nonsense. And it's people that I know that they did that. They're looking for the gambling. You know what it all boils down to? Thinking, turning off the fucking television, thinking. Stop asking people for their help. Napoleon Hill talked about this. I heard him say, if you are dependent on other people, your boss every minute, then you're never going to be nothing. You're getting crumbs. You're getting fucking crumbs. I told this to my friend, but crumbs are good enough for him. He'll never have. He's a good guy, but you know, he'll never have. I may never have too, but I'll tell you something. At least I fucking tried. Anyway, I don't think I'm gonna go to the park. You know, sometimes I like to push myself beyond all limits. You know, Ultimate Warrior talked about this. The body is meant to be, and it's meant to be used hard. But don't be in such a hurry. Be patient. Even if you're older, be patient. You can believe me, you can repair a lot of damage fairly quickly. You can. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Hope you like this one. It was about an hour. Till next time.